temporary defeat of masculine insensitivity to their inner lives.
I'll fight the bastards.
I'll fight them with bean gas if necessary.
Good morning. Happy Women's Wednesday. Look who's here, the natural progressive and Fiorella Isabella from the Convo couch. Good morning, ladies.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, we're wonderful, wonderful. How are you doing today, Chanda?
I'm excellent. We actually have a stream up. The studio's working after poor Oz went through 10 hours of hell yesterday. And look, we have two amazing guests with us for Women's Wednesday.
Oh my God, the chat is flipping out. Fabulous panel. Thank you, Jordan Allen. Oh, Auntie Ann, she's in love with you too. She's in love with all of you guys. This is great.
I love all of our chatters. Every single one of you guys, I miss you so much from my show. So I'll be back. I will be back.
Okay.
I'll probably do little short videos here and there.
Oh, I can't.
So don't unsubscribe.
No, I loved your Trump parade the other day. I actually brought it. We showed it on
I know.
on Tuesday.
I was there. I was watching and cleaning and in the chat occasionally. But yeah. That was ridiculous. That one went on for an hour. That Trump parade. It was, and you could hear it even before that. They went all up and down I-15. That's the main drag that goes through Utah.
Right.
And they did it because it was Pride Day, Utah Pride Day. But
Biden's up by 16 points. So
the fascists in Utah got together. All the fascists in Utah. I don't know how your street held all those people. What the hell?
Oh God!
It was crazy.
And that's everywhere. I mean, you see Trump signs everywhere here, and
here too.
Flags on people's trucks, like all the time. It's I don't know, I sure as hell haven't seen one Biden sign.
Fee, what is going on in your neck of the woods? You don't have any alt-right fascist people, do you?
No, there's a Trump parade every week, every Saturday, and a lot of people show up. Hundreds of people show up. We actually interviewed a few of them, and it was funny. And then the Black Lives Matter protesters have also protested in counter to that. So it's really interesting. I think Trump has a lot more support this year from minorities, is what I'm seeing.
Me too. Me too. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm going to take the straw poll at the beginning of the show since we've got such fabulous guests. Who's going to win the election? Fee? Who do you say?
Oh, the election? I still think that Donald Trump is definitely doing better. I think it depends. I think it changes moment to moment, but I'm still thinking that Donald Trump is going to edge out. I don't think it's going to be a landslide, but I think a lot of people are underestimating the discontent with the Democratic Party. And I think a lot of people are underestimating that middle America and southern part of the country where the Democrats don't give two craps about them. So
yeah. Christine, what do you think? Who's going to win?
I'm saying Trump. I mean, because they're selecting their polling for sure to show Biden ahead. They did the same thing in 2016. And let's put a caveat on that. It depends on how hard the Democrats cheat. So, and how hard the Republicans cheat with, trying to get people not to vote, which is a big thing right now. So I still think Trump has the enthusiasm in the base, and I think that's going to matter if he does if he doesn't win, I think there's going to be big problems.
Yeah, I got to go with that. Chanda, have you changed your mind yet?
No, I agree with both of these well-informed, smart women. They get it. They're on the ground. They see, I do think that it will come down to how hard the Democrats are going to cheat. Hillary Clinton has told Biden, do not concede for anything. So I think this one might be a fight in the courts. It could be drawn out. I mean, of course, Trump's going to declare himself the winner the day of. We already know that. So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm saying Trump still.
Okay. Well, I say the oligarch, whoever they want to win, is going to win. And with that, I will say hi to the chat real quick. You probably notice a lot of names in
Kelly
here.
Lane is here.
Kelly Lane. We've got Sirius. Sirius was first in today. Jordan Allen. Good morning. Good morning.
Julie Love.
Julie
Melissa,
Love. Yeah, Melissa.
Al Walski.
Yeah, Al.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, Auntie On.
Barbara, Melissa H, I got your email. Let's see, anybody else? We miss anybody there? I am not thinking. Auntie Ann. And if I missed anybody, please let me know. Oh, Cheese. Cheese is in there. Hey,
Yeah,
Cheese.
Brian was here, yeah.
Cheese is on Rockfin, but no card for today. Well, it's probably up there now. You know how Rockfin, a little bit of lag and catch up there. So I guess we should get going. We've made the introductions. And again, thank you, Christine and Fiorella, for joining us today. We have this offering from Melissa H., our very own Melissa H., Uphill Media. How many candidates are on this ballot in Vermont? Now, Washington has like 6, I think. Is that correct, Chanda?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got I think there's 19 there. So it's Joseph R. Biden, Don Blankenship, Brian Carroll, Richard Duncan, Howie Hawkins. Who are we looking? We were liking that Jorgensen. Is that who we're liking? Who? I don't know. Fee, who are you?
Osama's in the house, by the way.
By the way,
Osama.
Osama got
I miss you.
banned out of here it must have been a misfire. I was wondering where he had been. Thank you for coming back, Osama.
Thank you. We can't have life without Osama.
No, he's a
Sorry.
great musician. Fiorella, who are you inclined to vote for besides none of the above? Maybe, I don't know, on the ballot.
I'm voting for Gloria La Riva.
Good.
That's kind of where I'm leaning too.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gloria. Okay.
Peace and freedom here, but Party of Socialism and Liberation in general.
Right on.
And she's really good on imperialism. She's really good on domestic issues as well. And she's out there in the streets too. She knows so much about foreign policy too. She's a socialist, so I'm like, okay.
Actually, a candidate for the people, by the people. That's what we see. Christine, who are you leaning towards?
I haven't seen my ballot yet.
Oh, you don't have
it.
it.
The most,
choice.
Yeah.
very most, any candidate that is more, leaning towards my values, which would be more like a socialist. So, yeah.
I'm going.
And anyone who cares about the environment and believes in science, that kind of matters too.
I'm going to look at La Riva. I was going to write in a turd, but being that just counts as a blank, I'm going to look at Gloria too. So there we go. Thank you, Melissa, for that submission. We really appreciate it. We have a no-duh moment, and this is Macy's grants $9 million in bonuses to top execs after cutting 3,900 jobs. 3,900. I wonder if Disney's doing that too, or Disney's just restarting their bonus program now that they've laid off 28,000 people, right?
Is there anyone who didn't see this coming? Anybody?
Right. No.
Anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together?
No.
I mean, it's happened over and over and over again.
Over again. So how's you're down in California, Fee? How's the Disney thing doing? I know we kind of figured here that 28,000 people will have an impact on about 280,000 jobs. Am I way off there or what?
No, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, and I think here specifically in California, Disney has had a hard time because a lot of their employees are homeless, even though they work 40 hours a week. Bernie Sanders a while ago did an event here with raising those issues to with the union that was working over there. And I went and I saw him, and it was really great. But the great thing was that they were raising the fact that people are working full time and don't still have an ability to own a home or rent a home. And now it's so much worse than that. Now it's like we've added to that crisis because we've only cared about supporting the corporations at the very top. And small businesses, at least here in LA, are completely they got completely screwed by this whole system. They completely were ignored. A lot of the corporations received all this funding, as you guys know, with the CARES Act. And I think it's coming back down to bite us, especially in regard with the evictions that are going to be starting as people don't pay their rents and mortgages.
It's disgusting to me that they're considering bailing out the airline industry right now. With everything that's going on, the airline industry needs to reduce itself, and the people need the funds. If they did a monthly UBI, the airlines could shrink like they should. They shouldn't stay as big as they are because things have changed. It's a totally new world. Theme parks need to change. Maybe they need to file bankruptcy and go out of business, but the people need to be taken care of.
Right.
What? No water parks? That's the American way.
Chanda, I know you got your bonus. You want to weigh in on this before we get into the red meat of the day?
My bonus. What was my bonus? I don't even know.
That was your bonus.
Comparable to Amazon here in Seattle. People are literally living in their cars in the parking lot of Amazon to work a 10-hour shift. It's just going to get worse. And I want to shout out to everybody over at the Rockfin. Cheeseman says, Osama was my bad. My phone was pressing buttons in my pocket. I think I might have banned him. So very sorry.
Oh my gosh. Cheese. Oh, hey,
Brahm's in the house.
Brahm too.
Brahm and Kelly are here in the house. Hey, good morning, Kelly Lane. Give me a shout when you're ready to upload that Randy Credico stuff. Love that. So with Chanda getting her bonus, Nancy Pelosi's working hard to get all of us some stimulus here.
Working hard.
Yeah, she's working real hard. So bear with me. This was brutal to put this together, and we've got 4 or 5 clips here, but we're just going to skip through them, and I want to hear you ladies in on this. So let's start with the first one, framing it. Hopefully I've got it in the right spot. Let's hear it.
So Nancy Pelosi got asked about why she's not helping people during a pandemic. She's not giving people health care, and she's not giving people relief. She's did at least 3 or 4 stimulus bills now. Not one of them helped you. One of them gave you $1,200, and that was it, while she gave $5 trillion to her own husband and the richest oligarchs in the country. You didn't get helped, but her rich friends did. She's screwing you on purpose. And right now, she's not going to give you a stimulus for political reasons. And Wolf Blitzer held her feet to the fire. Here it is.
Is there anything inaccurate about that, Fiorella?
No, not at all.
I love Jimmy Dore.
He pointed it perfectly well. She's also, she's voted and signed and given money for all of Trump's military budgets as well. And, she goes out there pretending to oppose him, yet pretty much joins him every single time. Yeah. And she's disgusting. She's a disgusting human being.
Okay. Well, anybody want to argue with that here? I don't. I don't think so. As we progress, Jimmy goes on here.
If it weren't so sad, is how you all think that you know more about the suffering of the American people than those of us who are elected by them.
Than those of us who eat ice cream in front of our $12,000 refrigerators on television. You think you know more about the suffering of the people than a 100 millionaire who hasn't done anything to help people? Well, I know. This is when you don't have an answer. She's getting dismantled by Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah, Wolf.
To represent them at that table. It is unfortunate that we do not have shared values with this White House and that they have in their bill, why don't you talk about in their bill, a tax break for the wealthiest families in the country while they cut out the earned income tax credit for the poorest families in our country and the poorest children in our country.
Don't you have to have an income?
Has she told him good morning?
You have to have it.
Yeah, she told him good morning.
Good morning. It's Sunday.
Yeah, you have to have an income to have an earned income tax credit, I thought. Is that
usually that
really kind of helps. Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just disgusted.
I was flabbergasted. Fiorella, I know that you and Jimmy talk once in a while, and we see you on a show, which we would love to see more. But how do you feel about that, Nancy?
I think Nancy Pelosi is a more dangerous, rapacious oligarch than Donald Trump, because she is still attempting to psychologically, in a very sociopathic way, paint herself as a do-gooder, like as somebody that cares about the community. A district where I think, as Jimmy pointed out, a lot of people can't afford to even live there. Yeah. But then you side by side, you have the Silicon Valley, you have the very rich people in San Francisco, and there's so much homelessness, so much poverty in such a rich city. And it is literally her doing. And constantly she has to do her whole let them eat cake moment every single time she addresses the public. Because I don't know if we're going to see it, but she talks about feeding, we feed them. And to me, that really gets me super angry, because people are literally homeless every day, and people are asking you for money, for food, and it's really heartbreaking to see. So for her to weaponize that and pretend that she does something when she literally enables people to go after the poor, she enables these oligarchs, she enables these politicians, she doesn't offer any opposition whatsoever, it's really disgusting, and it's really enraging.
It is. But my favorite moment of that entire interview was when Wolf Blitzer said, I do see those people, because she said he doesn't see them, he doesn't understand them. He says, I see them every day on the street begging for food. That was my favorite moment of that entire interview.
We got that clip coming up.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No, go ahead. No, it's fine.
You're right. That was the most profound part of that interview, I think. But this is all Pelosi's ego is what it is. The art of the deal. She wants to be the one that can beat out Trump and get the deal the way she wants it. And she's sacrificing the American people.
Yeah, she's playing politics. It's going to stab her in the back. I mean,
I can't wait for it to smack her in the face.
Yeah, that was bad phrasing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I got to apologize to Nancy Pelosi here, because it's too easy to tear her apart on this bullshit. So anyway, let's continue here. Let's see what we got.
And host, and he's not even trying. It gets worse. Watch this.
But I feel confident about it, and I feel confident about my colleagues, and I feel confidence in my chairs.
And it's not about me. It's about millions of Americans who can't put food on the table, who can't pay the rent,
and
who
we
are having
represent
trouble,
them. And we represent them.
Getting by.
It sounds like she's saying we resent them. That's what I hear. I'm hearing. And we resent them. And you do. She does resent the people she's supposed to be helping.
These
them.
long food
and
lines
we
that we're seeing.
Them.
I know
we
you
know
are.
Them.
I'm just saying.
We represent them, and we know them.
As we say,
know them. We represent them.
Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, as they say.
It is nowhere near perfect.
Madam Speaker.
Always the case, but we're not even close to the good.
All right, let's see what happens, because every day is critically important. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for your sensitivity to our constituents' needs.
I am sensitive to them, because I see them on the street begging for food, begging for money. Madam Speaker, thank you so much.
Have you fed them? We feed them.
So now, who sounds like Trump talking to a journalist? Nancy Pelosi. As soon as she got asked a question, she turns into Donald Trump. Do you understand these people are Donald Trump? Keith Olbermann is Donald Trump. Nancy Pelosi is Donald Trump. Adam Schiff is Donald Trump. People who are triggered by Donald Trump have Donald Trump in their shadow. That's who these people are. She's exactly Donald Trump. She's a corrupt oligarch who's in bed with warmongers. She's a war criminal herself, and she wants to deny you help. She's certainly helping with denying you health care in the richest country in the world. They're all Donald Trump. They're all Donald Trump. And of course she wants Julian Assange prosecuted.
God.
They're all Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And if you think voting for Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi does you any bit of good, who's being naive, Kay?
Yeah, who's being naive? Let me ask you, we always talk about how that it's a bubble in Washington. Have they removed all the air in there and those assholes are suffering from hypoxia? Or what the hell is that? You know, she doesn't know shit about her constituency. She just knows about
She
her
don't
rich
care.
fucking friends.
She doesn't care. Not that she just doesn't know. She doesn't care.
She doesn't
Period.
care. This is
As long as she's fine with her fridge and her ice cream.
yeah. I got to say this, and Keith Oberlin. Sorry, this is beyond embarrassing at Wolf Blitzer. You owe Speaker Pelosi and your audience an apology. Do you think that Wolf owns a Speaker apology, Fiorella?
Oh, no, he needs a parade.
Fiorella?
I want to
The
know
most
why
honest
Wolf
journalism
did
I've
this.
seen in a long time
Yeah.
on regular media.
Why?
He deserves a parade.
What do you think, Fee?
I mean, I think he definitely deserves credit where it's due. You know, I'm not going to go and
Exactly.
necessarily be a fan, but I mean, I think
Oh, I'm not a fan. Don't get me wrong. That one moment deserves
no,
praise.
yeah. But that like questioning is something that I haven't even seen, and it's really not something I expected from a CNN pundit. So it was good. It was good. I mean, it just goes to show you though how bad she is that she makes somebody like that, like a CNN quote unquote hack, a normal typical elitist, start being like, hey, wait a minute, like these people are actually really hungry, probably has seen them, right? As he says, it's like you can't ignore that anymore. I mean, and she's being beyond corrupt. Now this is why I think she's more dangerous than Trump in some ways, is because they pretend that they're your friend. And this goes for the Democrats too. They pretend that they're your friend flat out, and they're not, and they go behind your back and they come after you far more than the Republicans. And I feel like if we want to defeat fascism, right, we have to get rid of people like Nancy Pelosi. We have to get rid of the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is enabling fascism. They're completely letting it happen. And sometimes that's just as bad, if not worse, than being tricked into working towards it, right? Into being a Republican.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
And it is worse to be the sneaky one, the sheep, as Jimmy Dore put it. He'd rather have a wolf in wolf clothing than a wolf in sheep's clothing, so you can see it coming.
Yeah.
That was a really good point.
Yeah, I think Chanda and I, we've been involved with the Democratic Party. I've been involved with it for 45 years, and I've watched this gross caricature of a representative party for the Democrats devolve into this slimy pit of decomposed rats, i.e. the Ralph Nader rat book. Chanda, what have you observed that just qualifies everything that we're saying here today about these elite privileged fuckers just talking down to everybody that's below their class structure?
Right. When I entered the Democratic Party, I was so naive and wet behind the ears. I actually thought that we could go in and the majority would have the say. So if you followed Robert's rules and you played by their rules, then democracy would shine through. Well, 5 years later, I'm here to tell you they changed the rules. They bow to corporate donors. We will never defeat them inside the party. How stupid was I to stand toe-to-toe with Shama Sawant and tell her 5 years ago, I'm going to do what Bernie told me to do. I'm fighting from inside. That was a colossal waste of my time. I did learn a lot, though.
Me too. Being a Bernie delegate, I did the same thing.
Right. But my question is why did CNN do this? Why did Wolf Blitzer do this? Because let us not forget Wolf Blitzer partying at the 2016 convention, Hillary's coronation, with the champagne in his hand. Yeah, having a good old time. Why all of a sudden has he turned coat on them? She's like, well, thank you for your consideration of our constituents. Why did CNN do this? Is it because their ratings are tanking?
Yep,
so
market share.
And everyday people like us are now having to take to our computers and to the streets to tell the people the truth and the news? Is that why he did it? What was the motive? Is what I want.
Fiorella, what do you think?
It was that. I think it was them tanking on numbers because they're just focusing on the stupidest crap. I mean,
Trump.
And the confirmation hearings and all that are kind of important, but people are really suffering right now.
Yeah.
This judge, I mean, that even makes it worse for Mitch McConnell. I mean, he's horrible too.
Yeah.
And
they're all trash.
for wanting to push this confirmation in such a short period of time. Makes them all hypocrites.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I mean, people are getting sick. They want to hear how our government is going to help the people. That's what they want to hear.
From genuine,
they want to hear policy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from genuine
And-
sources, like people on the streets. Yeah, Sophie, continue. Go for it.
Oh, and Mitch McConnell actually debated his opponent, whereas Nancy Pelosi won't debate Shahid Buttar. She has been asked to debate Shahid Buttar for like forever now, like months and months and months, and she won't debate. She pretends he doesn't exist. So she has this arrogance about her that I think you can't ignore. You can't ignore that people in California, that's supposed to be one of the most progressive states, where the 5th largest economy, are suffering so much, especially when we already had a homelessness crisis here. It is just exacerbating the situation. And this is like the United States in general, but Nancy Pelosi represents California. She represents the most powerful woman in Congress, arguably, right? And I think that her actions now are being completely watched on, and I think the right can actually take this, and it hurts the Joe Biden's candidacy, in my opinion, because a lot of people are like saying, wow, if this is how the Democrats are, wow, like if people are suffering, like the economy is something you can't really like joke about. You can't really manipulate, especially right now during a pandemic. So it just feels really fake. It feels really elitist. It feels like she doesn't care, and you can't really hide that at this point.
No,
I agree. Trump is definitely going to get a bump from that little act that Pelosi did.
Yeah. That's what I told Chanda that this morning.
People are not going to look positively on the Democratic Party.
Throws it more towards that. So moving right along with this segment, we just got a couple more parts to it. Our friends at Rising, thankfully they haven't been featuring Chuck Rocha lately. I just have a hard time watching them. But we're going to run this, and Crystal had something to say. Crystal, what do you got to say?
And that's maybe the best thing I've ever seen Wolf Blitzer do.
Ever.
His platform. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but like I haven't seen him really aggressively challenging members of Congress. And this was a great, important moment that he seemed to feel very viscerally and challenged her very effectively on. To me, it was just like clear as day that she had kind of been ridiculous and absurd and unconscionable in her answers, and like outrageously contemptuous and so imperious that she didn't want to be challenged, and that Wolf had done a very effective job. And then I go and look at all the people who were like caping for her on Twitter, and like Wolf Blitzer, Keith Olbermann said, sorry, this is beyond embarrassing. Wolf Blitzer, you owe Speaker Pelosi and your audience an apology? Like, what are you talking about? These are not celebrity icons. These aren't your friends. These are people who have enormous power over Americans' lives right now, and they're supposed to be challenged. That's the whole role of a journalist, is to challenge them and try to get answers. It blew my mind the number of people who had that take.
I noticed that quite a bit, and people that I had some respect for were defending Pelosi.
Are they all blue check people?
I don't know I don't know what the hell was wrong, but it was great, the ratios of people in Twitter that were like, are you kidding me? What are you talking about? That was anyway. I want to get out of this segment, but it's been really great, ladies. This is what is this?
You can skip this because it's pretty much just reiterating everything.
It's reiterating. Okay, I want to.
It's Mike Figueredo, Humanist Report.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Let me see what this real quick.
What makes me amused, if it weren't so sad, is how you all think that you know more about the suffering of the American people than those of us who are elected by them to represent them at that table.
How about, does this remind you of something?
Yeah, totally.
For the people and by the people and all
You know
for the
what's
people.
interesting about this group is I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway. I don't respond to that.
Oh, it sounded like
I hate her. I hate them.
We have the best politicians here in California, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Come join us.
Fiorella.
Hey, I have Mitt Romney here, so
Yeah,
that's true.
Well,
yeah, it's
and Mike Lee.
Is that Fee? Is that how these politicians, they talk to us all like we're children, including Wolf Blitzer, who may be a child, but still, he's a reporter. I get that impression that they're always talking down to us like we're dumb.
Yeah, they know more what we need than what we.
Well, there's a name for that. It's called elitist.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the culture of the Democratic Party, though. If you ever go, and I'm sure you guys know, to these Democratic Party meetings and you listen to how they operate, it's all about gaslighting those people who have an independent mind, who dissent, who want progressive things discussed. It's always about the language and the civility and about all this bullshit symbolic. Like, it's just symbolism is all it is, and America has been brainwashed to believe that symbolism is the way to be a politician, and it's not, and that's why we're in this situation right now. And as Crystal pointed out, journalists, this is what journalists are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's surprising that I'm not surprised that Nancy Pelosi is acting this way. But I am kind of like, wow, like, CNN is one of the tools of the establishment. And it's interesting to me that there's that shift going on. You can't ignore it. You can't ignore her answer was complete and total bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. Pat Hacker says Maxine Waters, too. Yeah, let's not forget about Maxine.
Oh, hi, Cody. Oh my gosh, I forgot what I was going to say now.
That's all right. That whole last snippet, I want to start singing Kumbaya, Kumbaya. I think
Pat Cody. Sorry,
yeah,
I felt it was last name.
I think
was Pat Cody hanging out. Yeah. Pat.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Pat.
I know you love Nancy, so
yeah.
Yeah, Pat loves Nancy.
Yeah. Nancy,
absolutely.
He loves Nancy.
Biggest fan.
Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi. I got to say, if you really want to know why these mental giants, Feinstein and Pelosi, talk like that, just look at their damn portfolios. Look at the weapons that Feinstein and her husband and real estate, everything. Look at Nancy Pelosi on how she went into Congress, maybe a single-digit millionaire. Now she's 100 millionaire. And her husband, and they're also entrenched in the military and, law enforcement and God knows what else. I can't even go there. So, yeah, if you really want to know, and that's how I vet all my candidates. If Eli Lilly's dropping money on them, they're out. I got to say.
Yeah, the only politicians that make money in office are crooks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Way to put it.
That's pretty good.
Jimmy Dore says that all the time, and
yeah,
he's totally
I know.
correct.
Jimmy, we love Jimmy. We love our Boston, Fiorella, and Johnny Sue. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Convo Couch, Nico House, all that.
Yeah. Real news. Here's a no duh moment. This is House Democrats passed legislation to boost the fortunes of the oil industry as one of their last acts before going on vacation after Election Day. Anyway, that's our no duh moment. I won't even get into that. Just check it out. We also have Trump. He's doing some common sense arts of the deal by funneling record subsidies to farmers ahead of Election Day. So buy off those rural farmers. If you're losing them, give them some more money. We are going to go to this clip right now. What is this, Chanda? You brought this?
Okay, so this is from the far right talking about Biden's rallies and how there's nobody there.
All right.
Embarrassing footage from Biden event shows Trump supporters drowning out the candidate with chants of 4 more years from hundreds of feet away. Just days after virtually nobody showed up to see him speak in Phoenix, Democrat presidential candidate Joe Biden had another embarrassing campaign moment, this time in Ohio. While speaking Monday at a drive-in event in Toledo about jobs and the economy, the former vice president was repeatedly drowned out by supporters of President Trump chanting, quote, 4 more years. Footage from the event posted on Twitter by NBC News reporter Mariana Sotomayor show Biden speaking in front of parked cars while the Trump supporters located hundreds of feet away and across the street waved flags and made enough noise that Biden couldn't be heard clearly.
That's that Biden excitement, right? Is this the Biden excitement?
I love this meme.
This is great. Wow.
Tens of people for Biden.
Yeah.
That's really optimistic there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they keep telling us that Biden is up in the swing states, right? But we've seen the swing states the last week, and there is nobody turning out in these swing states for Biden. So what the hell are they talking about? Yeah, the little pool that they polled might support Biden of the neo-libs that they polled on CNN, but no, that's not the states.
I think a hamster could run energize the base more than Biden is right now. Fee, you had a great big Biden rally down there in California recently, didn't you? Didn't California?
We did.
Yeah, I think you did. It was at some.
when I was in Denver, I saw a few Biden signs, but I really have seen like maybe 2 in California. Honestly, like there really aren't any. Nobody's excited about this guy. Come on, like you can. There's a lot of people that are like, well, I have to vote for Joe Biden. Blah blah blah. I'm in a swing state, but the vast majority of people are not excited to vote for Joe Biden. This is why I think, like, I agree. I think we all are in agreement here that the polls are not reliable. We've been here before. We were here 4 years ago, and people were really surprised when Trump won. And it's like, well, were you really surprised? I mean, are you listening to the white working class in middle America, poor people in general? Minorities are now having zero belief in the Democratic Party. They constantly get tokenized and used, and nothing ever gets done because they don't talk about policy because they're bought. So it's really becoming clear, I think, to a lot of people that, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are one and the same, even if they're not really out loud vocalizing it. I think it's becoming more clear to more and more people, especially in middle America and the South. Trump is really popular and people are really excited to vote for him because the Democratic Party is so bad. And oftentimes now they're trying to punch from the left when they're talking about Joe Biden wrote the 1994 crime bill. You can't really argue with that point. So
Yeah, they're going after him for his stance on Social Security and every other damn thing.
Telecommunications Act.
Yeah. I mean, he was like Bill Clinton's handmaiden when he was in the Senate. So
it doesn't help that Biden is going against all the policies, in debates.
Yeah, fracking. Frack.
Yeah, and new Green New Deal, which is very popular. I have my own feelings about the Green New Deal. But,
greenwashing.
That's a different story. Don't get me started.
Don't get her started on that one.
All the Medicare for all the popular policies that Biden's like, nope, I'm not for that. He's just Republican.
I
wouldn't even say Republican light. I'd say Republican.
He's a Republican.
He's a Republican.
Just a Republican, not a Republican.
He's probably farther right. Harris Biden, they are not doing anything to attract voters to this race. I think that in itself speaks to me that they don't want to fucking win.
They don't want to win.
They don't want to win.
Why would they have to? If a lot of the Democratic Party and a lot of people, I mean, I'm not trying to vote shame people, but Bernie supporters and, people are scared, right? They've bought into, we have to vote for the lesser of evils argument. So if we keep doing that, why would they give you anything if you're competing without getting nothing? And somehow people still believe that if you vote for Joe Biden, you can push him to the left when historically, once candidates get in there and into any office, they shift to the center more.
Every time.
They compromise every single time.
They shift to the right more like if they're on the left, then they shift to the center. Yeah, the right. Yeah, exactly. They're shifting more and more right until we are going into fascism, and they need to and you need to tell people, again, another Jimmy thing, but it's so true. I have to repeat it. If you tell them you're not, you have to be willing to tell them you won't vote for them.
Yes,
if
because
they're not going to move your way. You can't just say I'm going to vote Democrat no matter what.
We don't have to give them shit. They have to vote for us because who else are they going to vote for? We don't have to talk about Medicare for all. That sets up this next segment just beautifully, doesn't it, Oz?
Yeah, it sure does. We've got to keep going on this pragmatic bipartisan bullshit. But let's hear what Noam has to say about it.
Oh, Noam.
They had Noam Chomsky on the podcast and they challenged him on this idea of lesser of two evils voting. As you all probably know, Chomsky has been out front saying, look, Biden may not be that great, but you really got to vote for him because of the existential threat of Trump, and especially climate change is something that Noam has talked a lot about. Brianna and Virgil both have very different views on these things, so they challenged him on it. Let's play a little bit of Brianna engaging with Noam on this topic, and then we'll react on the other side.
What are the long-term consequences of everybody on the broad left, Democrats, liberals, everyone, saying that under any circumstances, we will vote for a Democratic candidate as long as they are incrementally better than the Republican candidate? Does that way of thinking contribute to the rightward shift of the Democratic Party over years? And what mechanism will ever stop that shift if we're not willing to ever, under any circumstances, leverage our votes?
What you're saying, if you think it through, is we should help Trump win because maybe in the long run, that'll affect the Democratic Party. That's a terrible choice.
Oh, shit.
Helping Trump win, as you're proposing, would mean 4 more years of destruction of the environment, getting possibly to tipping points, which would be irreversible.
What got us here?
Certainly making any effort to deal with it very difficult.
Biden!
It would mean stacking the judiciary with young, ultra-right lawyers, top to bottom, so that nothing would be possibly done for a generation. And I can go on and on. I don't think that's a wise choice, just on the hope that maybe sometime in the long term, the Democratic Party will pay attention to the fact that you're part of the 50% of non-voters.
Has Biden done anything that, or proposed any policy that's better than what Trump's doing now? Because I haven't seen it.
Fee, come on.
I'm just
make me say.
I just can't. She's just, I mean, her whole argument in the very beginning is a very logical argument, but she's entirely right. Every single time we compromise, that allows for the rightward shift in the Democratic Party. And some Democratic hack yesterday went to Twitter to say, I can't believe people are saying the Democratic Party is moving right. It's totally moving left. We're doing a lot of work. And I'm just laughing at him. He's one of these elite Democratic Party members that are part of the California Democratic Party. So I know who he is, and he's a hack. And this guy is trying to thwart, to really like push this idea that the Democratic Party is moving left. It's not. I told him they literally have been endorsing and embracing Republicans. I mean, they embraced Colin Powell, George Bush. They embraced multiple warmongers. What was her name? McCain. Cindy McCain.
Cindy McCain.
Yeah. Her and her husband's ideology. I mean, this whole thing is like, if you give up your power every single time without getting anything in return, where do you think that party is going to move? They are literally putting people in a situation where people feel like they're not going to participate in this system anymore because it's doing nothing for them. So you're blaming people for putting out inadequate and corporate candidates, and people have no choice. They're stuck in fear-mongering all the time. And if they, for 1 second, think that maybe we can just stop this shit and overthrow this, like, oligarchy because it's not doing us any good, that's as American as it gets. But if they were, for 1 second, think that, then they're voting for Trump. That vote is earned. It is not. It doesn't belong to the Democratic Party. And if we continue giving them our vote without them having earned it, of course, that's how Hitler came to power.
Exactly.
The working class was suffering. This is how it happens.
This is it. But what we can all take comfort in the idea that if Trump does happen to edge out Biden, which I think he will, that the Democrats are going to really do the smart thing and run Liz Cheney in 2024. Chris, don't
wouldn't put it past him.
Shit. All right,
let's. If the planet lasts that long.
Yeah, I have my doubts. Ask Kevin. Okay, here we go. Last segment on this one.
Noam, and I think a lot of people who are in his same vein attribute worse characteristics to Trump than I do. They buy into, there's been like 2 theories on the left of Trump. One is the one that I basically subscribe to, Ross Douthat articulated at the Times, Matt Taibbi has articulated. I did a whole thing here. Is basically like Trump is like an expression of late stage capitalism. He's like consumerism and celebrity culture run amok. He's this bumbling idiot. Even if he wanted to be like an effective authoritarian dictator, he can't get his act together to actually do it. I think we've seen that sort of manifest bumbling over and over and over again. And that doesn't mean that that person can't be dangerous and do harm. My fear after the election is not that Trump is going to foment some coup and like get the military to back him or whatever. Like, we just see no sign that even if he wanted to pull that off or like had that idea in his head, that he would be able to hold on to that plan for more than 5 seconds. I do worry about unrest in the wake of the election.
I don't know. Chanda, are you getting green guild there?
I'm just so over these people that I used to respect, like Noam Chomsky and Robert Reich and Gloria Steinem, Bernie Sanders, telling me I have to continue to support a neoliberal ideology and system that has done nothing but completely screw me for 40 years, take my jobs, not offer me health care, you know, austerity programs, you know, oh, we got to cut everything. You know, how many times has Biden said he wants to come after Social Security, but you know, you don't hear the Democrats talking about that. I've lost all respect for these people. I still think that Norm in his prime was very smart. He, you know, I do respect the work that he did put out there, but anymore, why does he look like he just came off of the Castaway Island? You know, I think that he's an elitist. I think that he doesn't have to worry about paying his bills. He doesn't have to worry about putting food in his fridge. So it's convenient and it's easy for him to tell us that we have to fall in line and support these people from his gated community. I'm done. I don't give these people respect or my time any longer.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I
sentiment.
I think where Noam is at now, to me, is that he is like anybody that's got a lot of money. I'm not talking about his money. He is wearing his educational privilege on his sleeve at this point, which equivocates.
They say we're privileged if we want to vote for a third party.
It's wealth of intelligence or wealth of privilege and education, not intelligence so much, but education, because he's been a brilliant man all of his life, in my opinion, but he's still just a fucking person, and they can make bad choices and say things that are ridiculous at the drop of a hat. So once again,
and not say the whole picture,
and not say the whole.
Living in his basement too long.
I think so too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's totally out of touch because of the bubble they live in, that educational bubble, the Washington D.C.
Right.
I respect.
Sorry, I just want to say it's precisely that bubble that it really was off-putting for a lot of people in Middle America. It's kind of created this weird situation where a lot of the working class moved to the right, and the Democrats embrace the corporations more, and you know, in a different way. It's not like Republicans don't embrace corporations in you know, at the top levels, but I mean at the bottom, like even at a Democratic, you know, state level, they embrace the money, the corporations, and so they're no longer the party of the people. Yeah. They're the party of an elitist culture of people who think that they're better than everybody else.
Absolutely.
And that is liberalism in itself.
Yep, absolutely.
And more socialistic programs have been passed during a Republican presidency. So yeah, I mean, the Democrats aren't there to do anything for you.
No, they hurt us when it comes to social programs. They always.
That's why the Republicans are getting bigger, and the Democrat Party is failing.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
No Joke is in the chat.
Oh, hey, Marcus.
V Gates, Marcus. Anyway, yeah, the dog Democrats know who puts the food in their bowl. So this guy right here, he's pretty brilliant in my book, even though he sits around his garage and plays with himself.
He's a jack-off comedian.
Yeah, Jimmy Dore at Rubenstein. He wants activists to convince people who are drowning that fear of future drowning should motivate them to vote for those contributing to their current drowning. I canvassed in impoverished communities. No way could I sell that. And that was, you know, that's just absolutely, Jimmy. We're right on there. I can't read the one, the response tweet. But they were.
Yeah, it's too blurry.
Yeah, they were. But anyway, we've got the super spreader news here, right? What's this, Chanda?
Oh, yeah. So this is from yesterday's Democracy Now, but they pretty much covered the same thing today. Trump is just out there spreading the love, man.
Passing out the blankets. Okay, let's see.
President Trump returned to the campaign trail Monday, just a week after he was released from the hospital where he was treated for COVID-19. Trump spoke in front of thousands of people, most maskless, who were packed together in defiance of social distancing guidelines. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was seen maskless, giving people high fives just a day after the state recorded over 5,500 new coronavirus cases. During the rally, Trump again falsely claimed he's now immune to COVID-19.
I went through it. Now they say I'm immune. I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience.
No one's produced a negative
Kiss
test.
everyone in that audience.
Yeah. Oh, but I have to
Kiss
read this
the
comment.
guys and the beautiful women and
Jealous, welcome.
everybody.
And thank you for being in the chat. I really won't. I think don't care when the whole system falls on Trump's head or Biden's.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't care either.
Yeah, I know. Hi, Van. Good to see you.
So Trump was out there last night again doing his rally, and I didn't bring the clip just for time because we're trying to stay at an hour today. But Trump literally said, "Why don't the urban women love me? You urban women should love me. I have done more for you than any other president in the history. Love me. Love me," is what he said.
Love Trump. Make some T-shirts. I think they'd really not sell. What's this? Is somebody hauling away?
Oh, this is when your Trump truck gets repoed in the morning, you know.
Okay. And from what I understand, Trump wanted to tear open his shirt and reveal his costume underneath when he left the hospital. Is that true, Shanda?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Super spreader costume?
Yeah, this is the vision I got. Here, let's take a look. Oh my God in heaven. I don't think so. Gross. What do we got? What is this? North Korea?
So it seems like every election cycle, Kim Jong-un gets some new toys. This was a big military parade, the biggest military parade he's ever hosted.
Oh my God.
And this is the biggest intercontinental ballistic missile he's ever had.
So he has one.
Mind you of somebody else?
I think they're trying to emulate their penises and failing. Here, let's see what we got.
Oh my God.
North Korea showcased previously unseen intercontinental ballistic missiles at an unprecedented pre-dawn military parade on Saturday. Analysts said the missile would be one of the largest road-mobile intercontinental ballistic missiles in the world if it becomes operational. The deputy director of the Open Nuclear Network called the missile a monster. The country's leader, Kim Jong-un, made an appearance in the state's TV broadcast as the clock struck midnight,
Oh, he's alive.
marking the 75th anniversary of the founding of its ruling Workers' Party. South Korean officials said this week that Kim could use the event as a low-intensity show of power ahead of the US presidential election on November 3rd, as denuclearization talks with Washington have stalled. A senior US administration official on Saturday called North Korea's display, quote, disappointing.
I love his haircut.
And called on the government to negotiate.
So I've said it over and over. The reason I am voting the way I am voting is not just domestic policy, but foreign policy. You know, when you understand what the Democrats represent for a global initiative, you have to vote against them. You just absolutely have to.
I think they would have made a bigger impression. Instead of the missile, they should have used the raised whites on those Goodyear tires. So it would have, you know, the white walls or the raised white letters, Goodyear, made by Goodyear.
I just thought that was interesting. You know, I think this was Al Jazeera. There's so much news going on in the world right now that Americans are not getting. Do you know Tara Reid dropped a video in Australia proving that she was an insider and very close in the Biden campaign, because the Biden campaign tried to blow her off and say, first they said she didn't even work for them. And then she said, oh, well, you know, she wasn't really a part of the crew. She was only here for a little bit. But it's this type of shit that the American media is just suppressing and you're not hearing. So that's why I always tell you guys, look outside of the United States for news.
Yeah, definitely look outside. Quickly, I'm going to run through this. This is, if you want to know who Biden's going to put in his administration, go figure. We know.
Advising Joe Biden on economic policy. Larry Summers, now we've covered Mr. Summers here extensively, billionaire hedge fund founder Orrin Kramer, and Roger Altman, the founder and chairman of investment bank Evercore Inc. The chairman of his transition team is Jeff Zients, who also works in private equity and was Obama's chief economic advisor.
Yeah.
So the list here is very clear about what you're going to get. But if it didn't get worse, and it can, There are also hardcore military-industrial complex people who are on this list. So let's throw up the prospects other piece, which we actually did a whole segment on previously, how Biden's foreign policy team got rich. What they list here is Anthony Blinken and Michelle Flournoy, two of the people floated as the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, heartbeats away from the presidency, arguably the two most important cabinet positions of all time in tradition. Right now, Treasury Secretary is up there, but not always in terms of traditionally. So we can see that they formed a firm together, and that firm has been basically selling and peddling influence for the largest defense contractors here in the United States. They actively work in order to help them navigate the process, aka win more contracts. But even worse, they advertise on their website that they will help big business go around sanctions in order to enter Chinese markets. And so they're like, oh, we know how the laws work, and which parts that you can change.
That's another no duh moment, right?
Yeah. Chinese Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah.
It's the Democrats and the Republicans. that push
It is
that.
both. It is. But Chris, we're about to get our asses handed to us by China. So
I mean, when
hard.
it comes to foreign policy, they're one and the same. They shake hands. They they love each other when it comes to foreign policy.
Wink and a nod.
Get it done.
Wink
like,
and,
let's make a deal with China, and they're selling our souls to the devil.
Wink.
I mean, not that I'm not saying that China is necessarily the devil, but they kind of are in this situation.
Bad, yeah.
They're trying to take all their resources, and they're building ports in all countries around the world, transportation systems. They're buying up agricultural land to grow food, to put in other things, minerals, everything else on into these ports to ship to China. So
no, I absolutely. This is Wendell Potter, the insurance exec that finally found his soul late in life. Sarah Cliff says an unconscious coronavirus patient on a ventilator was airlifted from one hospital to another to receive more intensive critical care. The two hospitals were in network, the air ambulance, and she received $52,000 bill as a result. Wendell Potter says this is unconscionable, but not at all unbelievable or even uncommon in the United States of America, so we don't need universal single-payer health care. I just wanted to bring this. This is a portrait made of pictures of all the doctors and nurses who passed away in this pandemic. Enlarge it and you will see it passed on. And the poor other mosaic we have is Kamala Harris. All the black men Harris is in prison. So, there's subtle reminders there of how fucked up everything is. So
Republicans are killing you,
yeah.
and Democrats are locking you up.
And they're locking you up. And we have to have universal health care, single-payer health care, period. These morons don't figure it out. I put up a meme of the Empire State, or the Twin Towers. 3,000 people died. It was a big enough excuse to go to war, but 220,000 people die, and it's not a good enough excuse for universal health care. I thought that was profound. Now we get to my favorite part of the show. It's the favorite part of the show is the Wipey Award, and although we have a lot of people who are worthy of it, and we put this up 3 days ago, and it goes to Fiorella Isabella, again, the reigning champion.
11-time winner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Fiorella. Joe Biden says, I know Americans aren't looking for a handout. They just want a fair chance to get ahead, and I'll work every day to make sure folks get that chance. And Fiorella goes, handout, Americans actually do need help in UBI form or direct aid because you and your cohorts have given too many handouts to billionaires and corporations and robbed the working class of basic needs. You vile piece of shit. There is no room for chance. There's need no less. This
is why I love Fiorella.
Oh my God, you got it.
He's an 11-time Wipey winner.
I don't.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I don't.
Yes.
I don't
I have
think.
more enthusiasm right here than Joe Biden has in his entire campaign.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever going to take out you, champ. You are champ, and we've got some close seconds, but not that close. So
David Sirota's pretty close, and then maybe uphills John Ellis.
Yeah,
John's yes,
good.
absolutely. But I was going to say about that comment, Joe Biden should be talking about, policies like extending the tax cuts for the people, because those have a sunset clause. So there's 4 more years of tax cuts for the, below, what was it, 250,000 or something, I don't know. And then, but the corporations and the billionaires, their tax cuts were made permanent.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Why don't he talk about, if he really wants to help the working man, why doesn't he talk about that and getting that reversed?
Courtesy.
He doesn't have to. You just need to fall in line and vote for him. He doesn't have to talk policy.
Yeah, exactly. Because too many people are just going to say, "I'll vote for him," and they have the cheating mechanism in order too.
Yeah. Thank you, Obama, Biden, for the permanent tax cuts. And we're about ready to go out. I want to thank everybody and offer them some interesting news, the most important news of the day. In my book, they found, what is this, Chanda? Who is this?
DB Cooper. So this is a great article that Amber King sent me a few days ago. Very interesting. I'm going to drop it in the chat. You can also find it on my Twitter page at ShanMasta. And I honestly think this was DB Cooper. I think they figured out who he was.
Probably was.
Oh, awesome.
I was sitting in front of the TV when he was on the plane or whatever, when the reports came out. So I'm kind of old and decrepit.
Well, the FBI closed the case. They don't want to deal with it. They closed it like 5 years ago.
Well,
but this Lincoln City news reporter, an everyday small town reporter, dove in, and I think he figured it out.
Yeah, it was chump change. It was 20 grand. 20 grand. And
that's nothing nowadays.
Yeah, just imagine
buy a new car.
Imagine the taxpayer dollars they spent trying to find this guy. I mean, it's probably millions.
Okay, I gotta give some more shout outs before.
Yeah, go ahead and get some shout outs, and then I want Fee to talk about what she's got coming.
Welcome. Let's see. Chris Foster is in the house.
Hey, Chris.
Hi,
Chris.
We love Chris. Jeffrey Denton.
We love Chris. Jeffrey Denton and Keith Hayes.
Keith Hayes. Yeah.
So, and Insight and Awareness.
Hey, Vic. We got our fan here.
I don't know. Hopefully we didn't miss anybody.
No, I want to say hi to a few people on Rockfin, though.
Yeah, say hi to people on Rockfin.
Billy
Progressive
Jones.
Update is here also. Hi, Progressive Update.
Hey, Alice.
Hope your channel is going well. Everyone check out Progressive Update channel, please.
Who's on Rockfin, Chanda?
We got Billy Jones, and we've got Jordan Allen, and Cheeseman is hanging out over at the Rockfin.
Right on.
We love our Rockfin viewers. And Twitch, I want to shout out to the Twitch viewers.
Yay,
I
Twitch.
see you guys over there. Hey, Twitch.
Yeah.
Good to
Hi,
see
Twitch.
you.
Rocking it out.
I
Fee.
want my daughter to see me on Twitch because she's on Twitch.
I know,
She's
my
been on
kids
Twitch
are on
forever
Twitch.
and ever. She has her own show.
Yeah.
And she's
No.
gets sponsorships.
No, that's fantastic. I've got some great screenshots for today. I'm going to put hearts in everybody's eyes and put it up there. So Fee, what do you got coming up?
Well, I have two things. We did a report on homelessness. We talked to a community of unhoused people who were trying to really talk about the community connections and build their own kitchen. And this is all taking place in Echo Park Lake, which is a lake in LA that's closer to downtown. And of course, this area has been drastically hit by the high rents and the evictions, etc. But the resilience that I see in these people is important, but also the fact that none of them, if you watch the video, care about this election, because their life will not change no matter who's president. They're still going to be homeless. And this just goes to show you that in progressive California, the mayors and the city were cutting off their water and their electricity in the park while they were homeless.
Oh my God.
So it just goes to show you how corrupt our system is, and that it has to come from the bottom up. You can't expect it to change with the presidency. So
you can't.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And if you guys want to check out the Convo Couch, it's at the Convo Couch on YouTube, and I'm also Fiorella_IM on Twitter.
Yay, Chanda!
I'm so excited! I didn't know you were going to be on when I came on.
Yeah, surprise! This is great. Chanda, what do you got coming up? Chanda?
Well, I've got my interview with Shama Sawant tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to talk about how Amazon has been lodging a millions and millions dollar campaign to take her out. They tried to stop her from getting elected. And now the former district attorney under Bush, who is good friends with the Democratic mayor, Jenny Durkin, is running a recall campaign on her. And we've we've seen a couple of changes this week. They've thrown a few of the charges out, but it will go forward. She is in court. So I'm excited to sit down and talk to her about how she's fighting back, how we can help her, and how do we get more socialists involved in electoral politics, because she seems to be blazing the trail for the rest of them.
Fantastic. And we've got I think we got Progressive Update today. It's going to be a little earlier, possibly at 2 p.m. Pacific with Amos. And Chris, are you going to join us next week?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm planning
thank
on it, unless
goodness.
something crazy happens.
Oh, thank
So-
We are the
goodness.
Dames of Doom.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we definitely are going to do some more Dames of Doom.
It's certainly my honor to have been hosting all these wonderful, talented, intelligent ladies. It's definitely, thank you so much, Fee and Christine, for joining us today. Shanda, I'm going to be looking for a mixer this afternoon, but we're going to go out with, what is this? This is a good outro.
This is a cover of War Pigs.
I love War Pigs. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a great day, everybody. See you soon. Check out the Convo Couch and Accidental Activists. We'll talk to you later. Oh, Beauty and the Boomer, Saturday night.
Beauty and the Boomer, Saturday night.
Bye.
Don't miss it.
Bye-bye.
Gathered in the masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerers of death's construction.